Loyalty is the virtue of special devotion to things like your family, your friends, your spouse, your country, your college team. Perhaps you could even be loyal to something more abstract, like the cause of democracy. The late 19th, early 20th century American philosopher Josiah Royce thought that there can be loyalty to loyalty, and he thought that loyalty to loyalty can be used as the basis for most of morality. These days, I don't think we would get many people saying anything like that. And in fact, many people are suspicious of loyalty for political reasons. Nobody will criticize a person for being faithful to their spouse or their family, but some people think that loyalty to a country undermines the impartiality we want to encourage in the treatment of all human beings everywhere. The worry about loyalty stems from the fact that loyalty means favoritism. But loyalty supports and deepens relationships, and we would not have a flourishing human life without those relationships. Let's talk about loyalty due to friendship. Have you ever told a friend something you assumed she would keep in confidence, but then she broke the confidence? Suppose she then said, "But you didn't tell me it was a secret." The problem with that response is that it would apply to anyone. If you promise anybody not to reveal something, then you shouldn't. But a friend should not have to do that. There is an assumed intimacy that involves revealing more than you would to mere associates, and counting on your friend not to damage your intimacy by treating it as public property. That is part of the reason for Julius Caesar's surprise and disappointment when he saw that his friend Brutus was among the conspirators. He knew he had enemies, but reportedly his last words when he was assassinated were, "And you too, Brutus?" Peter's denial of Christ is a lesser form of betrayal, but it was disloyal and cowardly. Here you see a magnificent painting of that moment by the Danish painter Karl Heinrich Bloch. Peter has already denied that he knows Jesus, and when Jesus turns and sadly looks at him while being led away, Peter remembers Jesus' words, "Before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." You see Peter's deep remorse in this painting, but you know there is more to the story. Disloyalty does not necessarily end a relationship. Since we can be loyal to different people and institutions, there can be conflicts of loyalty. I don't know of any rule about how to resolve these conflicts, but there is an interesting line from the early 20th century English novelist E.M. Forster that has been frequently quoted. Forster wrote, "If I had to choose between betraying my country and betraying my friend, I hope I should have the guts to betray my country." He goes on to explain, such a choice may scandalize the modern reader, and he may stretch out his patriotic hand to the telephone at once and ring up the police. It would not have shocked Dante, though. Dante places Brutus and Cassius in the lowest circle of hell because they had chosen to betray their friend Julius Caesar rather than their country, Rome. I'm not sure how to react to this because I don't think I would want everyone to live by it. But it raises lots of questions that do not involve a choice between outright betrayal of one's country and outright betrayal of one's friend. What if you have reason to believe a friend or family member committed a crime? Should you report it to the authorities? What if you work for a company that you believe is causing harm, perhaps to the environment? Of course, there's often very little loyalty between employer and employee in the U.S., but it is different in some other countries. In America, whistleblowers can get legal protection for revealing violations of the law among people with whom they have a close business relationship. What about people like Edward Snowden, who leaked many classified documents from the National Security Agency to the mainstream media because he thought it was right? He has been called both a patriot and a traitor. But one of the aspects of his case that strike me as interesting is that the category of loyalty was often overlooked. If he could be called both a patriot and a traitor, we need a public discussion of what loyalty is. The psychologist Jonathan Haidt says that loyalty is one of the values that most educated Western liberals have lost. And conservatives and liberals often talk past each other because they inhabit different moral worlds with different categories of value that dominate their thinking. Loyalty is one of the values that conservatives respond to and liberals generally do not. This difference corrupts public discourse and makes it very difficult to find common ground for public policy discussions. I think it is important to examine loyalty as a virtue carefully and critically, bringing into the discussion how loyalty might be defended as a virtue and how it affects people's lives for better or for worse. If we want to give up loyalty as a moral category, we should have a clear idea of what we are giving up.